From Arizona to Washington, all the way to Georgia, welcome to the Coast to Coast Catch Up. We're just two childhood friends who grew up together, chased sports dreams, and now live on opposite sides of the country. This podcast is our way of catching up, unpacking real life, and sharing the ride with you. From deep conversations to lessons we're still learning, laughs to life pivots is the kind of catch up everyone needs. Let's get into it. Abe, what have you been up to? How's your
Yeah,
week been,
man.
man?
August 19th, man. It's still pretty hot down here, and I'd say it's been a very standard week. With some awesome glimpses. Yeah, week for me again. It was hot. It was in the 90s in Georgia, in humid. We spent, I think, 4 days in a row: Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday in the pool. My dog loves the pool, so anytime that she wants to swim, I'm getting in the water as well. And it was just perfect pool weather. Mina's still recovering. She's a badass lady, and she's been kicking ass at that. And then but yeah, just very standard week, very standard work week. Nothing crazy happened. Nothing terrible happened. And then one of my highlights was our fantasy football draft on Sunday. So I had a blast with that. What about you, man? How was your week?
Who'd you get in the draft? What's your sleepers for the year? Let's make some predictions on here.
Yeah, so Ken and I, our friends, I think this is our second year doing the draft in this friend group. And they changed it up. We did a super flex, which I've never done before. I didn't realize
Neither have I. Neither have I.
Not making excuses, but I just didn't know that you want to get quarterbacks early. And that's never my strategy. My strategy is just to hog running backs. So I'm excited to have McCaffrey. I know that a lot of people didn't want to take him because he didn't play at all last year, but he's just really good. And the 49ers got rid of Debo and I think Jordan Mason. So I don't know how deep they are with skill players. They have Ricky Pearsall. So I feel pretty confident with that if he stays healthy. Someone stole Jalen Waddle from me. He was my sleeper going into this draft, and no excuse, I didn't take him early enough. So I'm kind of bummed about that. Still trying to get a trade for him. And then Amarian Hampton from the Chargers. Pretty pumped to have that guy. I think one, he's ginormous, and then two, he's with Harbaugh and he likes to run the rock. So I'm excited about that. And then I wasn't gonna pick him high. I don't think I did pick him high. I think I picked him like third round pick. But I have Drake London, who I am now officially have been since I moved here a Falcons fan. I'm going into my third year, and so I was too late in the board to get Bijan. So I have Drake London, which I'm pretty happy about that. So
very nice.
Yeah,
very nice.
Yeah, and I have I got King Henry. Derrick Henry. That guy's a monster. So
yeah, high risk, high reward with the McCaffrey pick. We'll see after last year sitting the season out. Yeah, never know. I went opposite strategy of Abe. I went two quarterbacks right off the bat with Hurts and Burrow.
Wild.
And yeah, my late sleeper pick that I'm kind of excited about is Jameson Williams, a burner down in Detroit. So we'll see what he pans out to be. I know they have a lot of weapons on that team, so we'll see if he continues to be the deep threat he was. But
it's important to note that Ken and I were like right next to each other in the draft. I think you were one pick before me, and you had two picks where I was like, oh, this guy took who I wanted. You took Devontae Smith right before I was going to pick him. And Xavier Worthy, and I was just like, dude, whatever, man. So
my whole team is basically wide receiver twos. So yeah, Jameson Williams,
Xavier
Worthy, Devonta Smith. Yeah, quite a few. So yeah, that was good. Going into my week, Alyssa and I had a good week. We're hanging out. It was good. It was a lot of fun. We didn't really do anything out of the house. We just hung out, had a lot of fun, played some games, did stuff like that. Continued to go to my reffing meetings. That was enjoyable. We had the draft. That was a good Sunday. And then Mac and I played pickleball yesterday on Monday, and we went down to a new court down on Mercer Island, and there's 8 courts down there, and it was pretty competitive, and it was fun to kind of go just Mac and I and let the competitive juices flow. So that was good. Um, yeah, a pretty short week. We this is Tuesday, and our last podcast was Thursday, so not as much to report this time around, but that's about it. You want to get into your wins and losses of the week, Abe?
Yeah, I would say wins. Definitely just having perfect pool weather. It was a little bit hot, but like my dog she's a unicorn. She's very late. Like, we live in a condo, so she's not like super hyper crazy all the time. But when she does like get in the outdoors, she'll go for a long time. So someone with her and like playing fetch with her in a backyard, in Mina's parents' house, like it's so nice to do living in a condo. So that was so fun. We were again. I was in the pool for 4 days in a row, just trying to tire her out. And it's also nice when she gets inside and just falls asleep for the rest of the day. Makes my job a lot easier. And then the loss is the weather. It's been hot, which again made it going to the pool nice. But even today, we had a major storm at the back end, like on the way coming home today. Rain like I've never seen it before. So just yeah, not good in construction, but just not good in general. Like I don't mind rain, but when it's like raining so much that like it floods the streets, it's a lot. So that's kind of the sting. It's not that major of a loss, but it's just not fun to see that kind of weather.
Yeah,
What about
full
you?
week. Not gonna have super extreme wins and losses this week.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, my win for the week. Alyssa and I went on a hike on Saturday. It's called Lake 22, and it was another one of these beautiful. You hike up the mountain, and then at the top of the mountain, there's a lake, and there's still some snow and stuff. Even though we're in mid-August now, so super pretty, bunch of waterfalls up there, and super fun. Really enjoying these hikes with lakes on tops of the mountains. They're beautiful, and we don't get those in Arizona or really anywhere else I've lived. There was a few in Europe, but they were nothing like these ones. So really enjoying these. I think we have a few more on the list with just these mountains with lakes on top. So really enjoying those. And then go ahead.
Before you go to your loss, I gotta ask: Are you doing a lot of squatch calls on these hikes, or
So for a
or
backstory for this, Abe is a notorious Sasquatch caller. I'm not gonna ask him to do it for you guys, but
no, not
he's
indoors?
he's it's an outdoor call. We'll leave it at that, and maybe one of these days we can get him to do it for us. But uh, he no, I haven't done any. I'll leave that until you get up here, and we can let it rip and see if any come our way.
All right, sounds good. I was just curious.
No, that's a great question. They are supposedly up here, so we'll keep our eyes peeled and listen for them, but
Yeah, you're
nothing
in the
yet.
heart of the
Nothing
squat.
yet.
You,
Yeah,
you're
right.
really up there.
Going into my loss for the week, it is a job loss, so luckily not a personal loss. On the job, we had a guy that was camping out behind our job site, living on the railroad tracks, and um, he is a known arsonist. He has already burnt down the neighbor's trailer, and basically, there's no way we could prove it was him. Although he is a known arsonist, and he is sleeping behind the job with a blowtorch. There's no true evidence that it's him, so couldn't really do anything about that. And we came to the job site Monday morning, and the fire department was there, and um, the police were there, and they basically told us that he had gone in our job site and burnt all our long wood members, which have a long lead time and were probably 50, $60,000, with 10 week order time for non-construction people. Lead time is just your delivery time, really. So hopefully that with our schedule coming through, hopefully that doesn't push us into having to work the weekends, because that would suck for me because I don't really make overtime money. I'm on salary. So hopefully we can continue to work during the weeks and just have overtime during the weeks. But we will see with that how that pans out.
Do you guys have cameras on site? Are you
We
guys
do not. We ordered them now, but
well,
at the moment we do not. So little late. He actually reported himself. He's in jail right now, but they really don't have any evidence still other than him reporting himself. So I don't think that'll be long, and we'll have a camera. So there's that. But I don't know. It's weird out here. Well,
yeah.
it's weird that line. You're like, well, it's pretty obvious it's him, but we don't have any proof. So I guess um, not guilty until proven so. So
Exactly.
yeah.
Well,
So let's.
well, hey, that segues perfectly into what we're going to talk about today. Cannon now lives in Washington.
Arsonin?
No, not Arsonin. That's just where you're at, right? You're in Washington, and you got a lot of lead time to this lumber, which I don't understand why. There's a bunch of lumber up there anyway. But
Right.
we're talking about Washington. The perks, the cons, the pros, the good, the bad, the ugly. How long have you been up there for?
I've been here since January, mid-January. So what is that? 7 months. 7 months
Yeah.
now. So
Yeah.
starting to get my feet under me.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. So it hasn't been long, but I feel like you've gotten through almost every season except for fall, right? Are the leaves starting to change up there yet?
They're not. They're not.
Okay.
The berries are starting to fall off the trees. Are getting withered away, but not yet the leaves. So getting around to it. Looking forward to that. That's for sure.
Oh, I'm sure. I couldn't imagine. I'm a big fall. Like I know last week we talked about Wisconsin, but the fall in the foliage with like the contrast of pine trees, I think is like the best thing that looks the best. But no, we'll get right into it. Cannon, living in Washington for 7 months now. What are the things that are like obviously noticeably different compared to say Arizona and the Midwest as well?
Yeah, I think just the activities that we have to do up here. There's so many things to do. There's snowboarding and skiing. There's a bunch of hikes, bunch of biking trails. There's pickleball. Pickleball was invented up here, so there's a lot of there's a lot of pickleballers out here, and they're pretty good, dude. Mac and I, we look like athletes more than I guess your average person. We played some people who did not look like athletes, and they have quick hands. They're pretty good up here. What else? There's camping. There's a few national parks up here. We've explored Olympic national parks. That's been super fun. Yeah, I mean the weather in the summer is so good. There's so many things to do, and going out to the lakes and so many lake activities, and there's ocean up here, so that's different. But compared to other places I've lived, and then hunting and fishing is also an activity that a lot of people partake in up here as well. So the activities are just one end of the spectrum to the other. There's a bunch of them.
Yeah, to me the way I've always described it is that and I've been to Seattle a handful of times. I never lived there, but it's Colorado with an ocean. Like you have all these kind of outdoor activities, and then you have the beauty of being next to a port of Seattle and the ocean near to you. So again, really endless things that you can do. I do want to ask you kind of just a couple follow-up things. Is there a lot of tennis courts up there, or is it really just pickleball?
Dude, it's mostly pickleball. Like there's a few tennis courts, but I think the only tennis courts I've seen have been on like high school campuses. So but dude, pickleball has taken over. Pickleball has taken over. There's so many.
I'm sure like the tennis courts were tennis courts at some time, and then they're like, hey, like these need to be repurposed, repainted to make pickleball courts.
Maybe, man. I don't know. That's a great question. But yeah, this Monday we went to that new place. There's 8 courts, and there was probably 30 people waiting in line. Like it was so many people, and it was a blast because people are good and competitive, and is impressive.
I had no idea that it started in Seattle. Here in Georgia, tennis is huge. Pickleball is not. So like it's fun to see that dynamic. And then How many times? I know you started in January up there. How many times were you able to snowboard up there?
Just once. We went
Just once.
to Crystal Mountain. Alyssa got it for my birthday, so that was my first time in like 2 years. I wasn't allowed to when I went over to Europe because I was
Yeah.
on contract, and then I don't. I might have gone the year before that, but very limited, just with football and trying not to um, tweak myself before that season. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Have
it was a
you,
blast.
when doing your research, is there a lot? I mean, how many hills? How many options? I know we talked about in Arizona how there was two spots within 3 hours, 4 hours. Have you looked into like how many hills there actually are and how close they are?
I don't have an exact number, but within an hour or two, there's probably 3, 4 hills. So I mean, don't even have to look further than that, right? Like, why drive further than you need to? But yeah, there's quite a few, lot more than Arizona. It seems more abundant, and then they're actually mountains compared to the ones in Wisconsin where they have a slightly steep 100 foot face, and they'll call it a
Yeah,
black diamond. Like, no, that's maybe a blue anywhere else, but yeah, there's quite a few, and it was super fun. Lissa did good.
that's awesome. That's awesome. What and the hills were good. Was it pretty long? Like to compare, how did it rank up against Snowball size and quality and all
Yeah,
this?
yeah, I'd say very similar, a little more mountain. I'd say we did it. I mean, my birthday's end of March,
Yeah,
so did it end of March, so there was less snow than peak time, but it
yeah,
was good. It was tall hills, long runs, and really enjoyed it.
that's so cool. And then kind of back to pickleball. Are you guys? Is there a lot of like free activities? Again, I know a lot of the activities that you listed are all outdoors. Are you having to pay for a lot of stuff going to a lot of these activities, or is pickleball like are the courts free? Or I imagine all the hiking is free.
Yeah,
Um, have you had any issues with pickleball other than just getting times and finding an open court?
no, pickleball has been free. Yeah, there's lines. It's crowded. The other weekend we did leave our paddles, so that cost some money to go buy new ones. Mac and I got distracted, and there was a skate park next to the tennis ball court. So while we were waiting, we ra- ran around the ran around the uh, skate park and just acted like we had scooters and skateboards, and timed ourselves on a little track and tried to beat it. And with all that, we forgot our paddles, and we had to go buy new ones. So yeah, not too proud of that, but no, other than that, no cost with pickleball. Hiking sometimes you have to pay just to park your car. It's
Yeah.
like $5 a day, or I think there's like 3 passes up in Washington, which kind of stinks because you're like, oh, I bought this one, and then you go to the next hike and it's not useful. So um, yeah, kind of learning that system has not been super fun, but $5 to help them maintain the trails, it's not a whole lot, and they're beautiful trails. So really enjoying that. Um, lately, there's been a lot of fruit out, so that's free. That's been fun.
Get my five
Really
dollars
enjoyed
worth of
that.
fruit.
Yeah, oh, at least $5 worth of fruit. Yeah, I guess growing up in Arizona, and I didn't have that a lot, and so moving up here, I splurge on my fruit picking. Even at the job site, we have apple trees and cherry trees and blackberries. So, I'll finish my lunch and still feel a little hungry. I'll head out to the apple tree and grab a few. So, I do enjoy picking trees, picking fruit off
Europe
the
has
trees.
smoke breaks and Canada has berry breaks.
Yeah,
he
right.
uses berries.
Yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
top
That'd
of
be
the
good.
hour. Oh, I'll give you 5 minutes. I gotta go get some handful of
Yeah,
raspberries.
yeah,
No, that's awesome. I think that's what's so cool about the West, and there's a big sense of this in Arizona is that there's just so many free activities outside. The pickleball is crazy to me because I can't imagine waiting in line for that long. I'd imagine there's gonna be some courts that have reservations and people kicking you off, and it just kind of becomes this angry little match between people that are playing and people that are reserving. But no, dude, here in
And
Atlanta,
it's really not too long, the wait times. I
yeah.
mean, you only play to 11, you cycle off, and so with a court of 8 people, it was, you're every 3 or 4 points somebody's getting a new court, right? So
Oh, that's awesome.
so yeah, it really wasn't too bad. I think the max time we waited was probably 10 minutes the other day,
Oh,
so not bad at all.
that's like a perfect little break in between the intense
Right,
pickleball
exactly.
match.
It's almost nice. It's
That's
almost
cool.
nice. Man,
Um,
yeah.
camping wise, you guys do a lot of camping. Are you paying what? How many times do you pay for camping? Like, if you were to go camping 10 times, how many times are you paying for a spot? And then I assume that all the other ones are free as well.
Yeah, so far we've done a good job. We've only had to pay once.
That's awesome.
I mean, getting into the national park, we had to pay for that pass, so that a little bit of a shaky one there. But no, we've only had to pay once. We asked ChatGPT. We've looked on the dirt and looked on some apps with the free campsites and looked for that,
Yeah.
and that's panned out pretty well. It's first come first serve, and the well-known ones are pretty quick to get full. So
Yeah.
we're working on it, and we're kind of figuring out that way. And so we're pretty happy to have paid for one. It was a later night. Alyssa and I went out to Olympic National Park, and we thought we were going to find one. We didn't, so we had to drive quite a ways, and we just ate the $15-20 fee it was, which is fine. But yeah,
Yeah.
pretty good with free spots. I don't know if there's a lot of them, and I think uh, probably better than most at being cheap. So yeah.
For sure. How, I know that you mentioned the dirt, no free ads, but the dirt's an awesome app. Or
It used to be. It used to be a lot better. It's actually
what
gotten a
really?
lot. It's gotten a lot worse. You got to pay for the free campsites and all that, but you can kind of look for areas, and Reddit. Reddit's pretty nice too.
Okay. All right. So really, so Chat GPT, the old
Yeah.
and Reddit are really the spots where you're looking to be, because again, you have no clue where to camp, right? Like
Right.
if you're in the spot, like no one, Mac doesn't really know Seattle that much either because he's been there for a short time as well. But to have such big of space, right? All their parks, all their their national parks and national forests. I know that Seattle does a fantastic job of the area of just kind of keeping those areas kind of off limits to subdivisions and developers and all that kind of stuff. But man, it's got to be overwhelming to some degree for someone to come in and basically find these spots that people have known, whether it's passed down through family, passed down through friends. But that's awesome. Reddit, I'm actually surprised about Reddit. That's good that that's good that the people are helping out the people.
Dude, Reddit's on the up.
Yeah,
There's a lot of good, like it's almost
surprising.
like a review place. People are
Yeah.
honest there. You can't buy a review on Reddit.
It's the way Yelp should have been,
Exactly. Yeah. You
That's awesome.
can't get bought out. So that's
That's awesome.
nice. You know what you're reading was actually someone's opinion.
Well, that's so cool. And then you mentioned a lot of there's just a lot of water up there. A lot of you're hiking to a lot of lakes. You live right next to a lake, whether not be very deep at all, and then you live in close to a bay. Have you spent much time on the boats? Just whether it's renting a boat or having like a boat day or knowing someone that has a boat. But I'd imagine that there's got to be an itch to kind of get out in the water out there, call it the ocean, call it the bay, but just kind of explore that new area that you live in, kind of by water.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, there's ferries everywhere. Just going one side of the city to the other, there's a big old lake in between. So yeah, there's ferries. We did that going up to Orcas Island. That was cool. A good way of transportation to just see and explore a little more. And yeah, dude, I definitely wish I had a boat. uh, out in Lake Washington on a sunny day, it's choppy with boats, and there's jet skis and people pulling the wake the surfing boats and
Yeah.
people pulling wakeboards and stuff. It looks fun out there. I definitely need to work on befriending someone with a boat because I definitely feel like I'm missing out that Seattle experience, but
And you probably saw that
super
too.
fun.
Yeah, you probably saw that at Mercer Island as well. Where like, because I think Mercer Island's it's in the bay, right? It's in a bay. It's not a lake.
It's in Lake Washington,
Oh, it
so
is in Lake
yeah,
Washington.
yeah. So yeah, there's houses on it, and it's Mac and I were, oh, how much do you think this one is? How
Yeah,
much do you think that one is? And uh, all expensive was the answer,
yeah.
and we, yeah, maybe someday, but working towards that currently.
Oh, for sure, for sure. But yeah, I just um yeah, I can only imagine getting out there and even like taking it like you have like Washington, but like even getting into like Puget Sound and more of like kind of the ocean side of it. But yeah, and then fun fact too, like um Washington has the biggest ferry system in the US, which
Does it?
didn't know beforehand. I found that out like 2 or 3 days ago via social media. But they must be listening to our conversations. But I thought
That
that was
makes sense.
a cool tidbit of like, it does make sense out there.
You look at Seattle and you wonder, why did they build a city right here? Like it's just so inconvenient. You need bridges everywhere you look. There's ferries is like a system of transportation. It's just there's easier places to build a city, I feel like, but it does make for a pretty skyline and cool sunsets and stuff when you're out on the water.
Yeah, I've flown a lot into that Seattle Tacoma airport. Probably the coolest. Please try to land during the daytime or around sunset because man, flying over there, that airport, you do see the skyline of Seattle and the nature and Mount Rainier and Mount St. Helens and it's so pretty to fly into there. But they're just looking after their economy, Cannon. They're like, hey, we build a city. How do we get people to come here? Jobs. How do we make jobs? Bridges, right? That's exactly what you're up there for. They were thinking ahead, right? Kansas, middle of Kansas, there's nothing to do out there, man. It's just pave dirt, and then that's it, So,
It's true.
yeah, props to Seattle for really looking ahead and thinking about jobs, really. But no, so cool. Such a very unique. Have you had any issues with that? Do bridges get really bad traffic? Obviously, like during um, rush hour, right? I'm sure traffic is terrible, but like on a Sunday or Saturday, if you're going like into town or if you're going to Seattle, are you running into a lot of traffic out there, or is the infrastructure somewhat grid system like where, like Arizona, where it does things do make sense?
No, things don't make sense. Traffic is notoriously bad in Seattle. They do all sorts of funky things. The HOV is on the right side instead of the left side, like everywhere else I've lived. Um, the bridges are bad. There's toll roads that can cost like, I think a toll road's normally like $1 or $2. They're like $15 when the traffic's bad. It's not good for traffic and um, definitely have maxed out Seattle. It feels like during rush hour, it's tough to get place to place. And Alyssa and I talked about it last week, but Alyssa, I, and the roommates all went to the Raiders Seahawks game, and we left probably 2 hours early and didn't make it to the time Genty got taken off the field. So, um, bunch of traffic. Even with a HOV lane, you're still in traffic. So
That's
not
awful.
great in that aspect.
That's awful. I remember when going to Minnesota for school like a month before. I've been watching like a YouTube video of like, hey, 10 reasons why not to live in Minnesota. Like number two was like infrastructure and like their civil engineering basically of like there's land of 10,000 lakes. Like you've got to go around lakes. Like you're not gonna drive over them. You're not gonna drive across them. There's no bridges. So to get from one place to another, it might be as the crow flies, like 5 miles, but you've got to go 15 miles because you've got to go around 2 lakes. And I remember being like, not a big deal, whatever. But
Right.
I can only
No,
imagine.
they do that, and then they build a bridge, and then that's a toll bridge, so you can't even use it unless you pay. So it's tough out here, but luckily I am close to my work, and I don't get that too bad. So I hear the nightmares of everyone else coming in, but luckily I'm only 10 to 30 minutes away, depending on traffic.
That's awesome. And then what are the drivers like? You got a lot of snowbirds up there. You got a lot of old people up there. Are the drivers? You get a lot of road rage. Is actually what I'm trying to say.
Road rage. I haven't noticed road rage. I've just noticed people like visually upset. Like they'll throw signals out the window and stuff, but it's not like they'll ride your tail or anything.
Yeah.
I do feel like there's a lot of tech people up here, and so I've noticed green lights. Like you might sit behind a light that has turned green for 5 to 10 seconds. Like it just seems like everyone's distracted. As soon as that light turns red, they're on their phone, and then
Yeah.
it's like um, that way. And then there's a lot of honkers here as well. It was funny. We lived next to an intersection and the other place in Redmond, and it was just like every time we crossed the street, there was somebody honking or a lot of honkers. And then also there's a lot of those stickers, like, when you're learning to drive and somebody has like a sticker on the back, they're like, oh, young driver, be patient with me or something. It's like they have those stickers, but old people have them too. Like there's one that I pull up to at work, and somebody at work, like at the company next to mine, has that sticker. It's like, you are 50 years old with a job. Like, how are you still learning? Like, be patient with me. I don't know. I don't know if it's just they truly are new learners or they're just softer up here or what that is. But yeah, that will not be me or anyone in my family. So
They probably have kids, right? They probably have kids that they're just
well,
let's give them benefit of the doubt.
Maybe so. You do. There's some good learning lessons with getting honked at when you're young. I feel like I remember my dad took me home from the permit, getting my permit, and he's like, "All right, you're driving home," and gave me the keys, and it was a stick, and we were stuck at a 4-way stop, and I had to go uphill, and I could not figure it out, and I probably stalled the car 7 to 15 times and just freaking out. And just, Dad, what am I doing wrong? He's like, I don't know. Figure it out. You got it. I'm like, no, Dad, like, just help me. Like, am I letting it off through? He's like, I don't know. Like, you're stalling it. Like, you got to go. Like,
you're correct, kid. You are stalling the vehicle.
Yeah, right, exactly. But I think it makes you tougher. If you learn how to deal with that with your parents in the car, then you'll be better when it's just you in the car. So there's good and bad.
I can only imagine what driving with Kirk would be like. Oh man, what a good time that must have been. But
you do and you don't learn quickly. I'll put it
that way. I feel like you do have a good grasp of what it is to drive though, because of the way he taught you. But no, I think the phones, dude, it is, not to sound like a total mom, but like it is scary to see how many people are actually on their phones driving distracted on the roadways. Mina has an electric car. It does everything for you, but basically hold the wheel. It's got a giant screen on it. Like it's so easy to be distracted while driving. And sometimes I do make her drive, and I'll just look out the window, and at least 50% of people have their phones in their hand, or you can see them talking on the phone. Like it is getting out of hand because cars are getting better at driving themselves, and it's not making, like, the idea is to release the phone out of your hand and call on the car, but people just start playing. Like, dude, someone was playing Clash Royale on their phone, like in the car while driving, and I was like, that can't be safe. Like, talk about like getting road rage. You get 3 crown. It's like, God dang it! Next thing you know, you're in the ditch. So, no, very concerning. But are you noticing a lot of tech cars is up in Seattle as well? What kind of cars do you see a lot of up there?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of e-cars up here. A lot of Teslas, a lot of Lucid. What's the other one? Rivians.
Yeah.
Yeah, a bunch of those. A lot of SUVs. Subarus, things you kind of expect up here. I don't. I'd say mostly the cars and stuff are newer. People up here seem to have a little more money than other places I've lived. So yeah, I'd say for the most part they're pretty nice, and it's pretty common to see a six-figure car driving as well, which is kind of new to me. Back in
Yeah.
Arizona, we'd point them out. I mean, they'd be somewhat common in Arizona as well, but I'd say up here it's you see one probably every time you go out. So
Well, it's important too. Like obviously, like the bigger the car, right? Like the it's more expensive it's going to be, right? Like even I mean, some of the base like Tahoes now are like damn near like six digits. So I do get it, and I think a lot of those people, and the reason why I'm asking, I imagine a lot of people up there basically need space on the car, whether it is going camping, whether it is um, going from one place to another, and kind of all their outdoor activities. You need space for it, right? Once you start having more people than just two, right? Because I think you're still rocking that Chevy Spark, and so you've gotten really good at packing light, but you start packing for 2, 3 kids. Gosh, you have 4 kids, you got to put some in the back row and fit all that stuff. So I do kind of see that the tendency of having bigger cars up there. Do you think that you need 4-wheel drive up there? You think that's a thing, or
yeah, I'd say most people are pretty outdoorsy people, so
yeah,
they want to have it, right. They're going getting lost out in the woods, and yeah, I haven't really had to use it a whole bunch. There's
yeah,
a few times during the snow I popped it on, and then a few times not on the Chevy Spark. I have
yeah,
a
yeah?
truck that the work gave me. The Chevy Spark only comes with two-wheel drive, sadly, but we're working on that. Um, but yeah, I haven't used it a ton. Haven't really gone off-roading though. I mean, we went camping a few times. I popped it on, but yeah, Mac doesn't have it, and we had an instance where we probably should have, and we were just sliding uphill, and we're like, okay, we can't make it up this one. So yeah, it's probably a good thing to have, I'd say.
Interesting. And then kind of a random question too, but when you've talked about how again Seattle it rains a lot more than people think, or it doesn't rain as much as people think, but it does rain a lot up there. Um, have you gotten nervous like driving with as wet roads? Again, coming from the desert, like we had prime like weather conditions to drive, unless you're driving in a Haboob. But and then we learned how to drive in the snow up the Midwest. But do you like? Have you noticed any tendencies with like driving on super wet roads or driving in the rain a lot? Like, have you got? Like, do you feel a lot more comfortable with it? Did you realize that you weren't as comfortable with it until you moved up there, or have you not noticed it at all?
I don't think it's too bad.
Okay.
The rain here is not a super pour. Like, I feel like sometimes in the Midwest you'll get just a true downpour. You feel like you're in the middle of a shower. Here it's just you'll get a good rain every once in a while, but it's not like scary. You can't see, your windshield wipers can't go fast enough rain. It's just pretty calm mist. Maybe up to a decent rain, but it's not like when it rains here, it's not a thunderstorm. It's just rain.
Yeah.
Like everywhere else I've lived, when it rains, it's a thunderstorm. Like there's going to be lightning. It's gonna get dark, and here it's just always kind of pretty dark, and you're kind of driving through a cloud. It seems like so. Not too bad on the roads for that aspect.
That's good. No, that's interesting. Um, and then as far as like people goes, I know we kind of talk about like the drivers of Seattle. Have you noticed? I know another kind of big stereotype with Seattle and the West Coast as a whole. Have you noticed a lot of homeless people either in your area, the Kirkland area, or in Seattle?
Not as much in the Kirkland or Redmond where I've lived, kind of on the outskirts of the main city. But when you get into the city, there's definitely some streets you turn down. You know, Alyssa, get closer to me, and like a
Yeah.
little more on edge there, I'd say. So Yeah, definitely more than other places I've been, but also I don't spend a ton of time in cities in other
Yeah.
places. So it's not like I have place to compare, but I have noticed myself going down in Seattle more than living in Arizona and going down to Phoenix. Just uh, yeah, I think just because I'm new and want to explore and see what's going on. So
I think there's more to do in cities like Phoenix. Unless we were going to a baseball game or a basketball game, we weren't doing anything in Phoenix, like in downtown Phoenix growing up. But like with Seattle, like you've got the gum wall, you've got the Space Needle. I think both their stadiums, football and baseball, are pretty close to downtown. Like you have the Pike Mark. Like there's actual activities to do in downtown Seattle. I'm not saying that there's not activities to do in downtown Phoenix, but there's just it's just different. Like I think Phoenix is just
yeah,
so spread out that you do go do those other things in other places.
yeah, you're totally right. Yeah, that is a good point out. I hadn't really noticed it till you said it there, but yeah, it does seem like there's a lot more things to do in Seattle than Phoenix for sure.
And then parking. How is parking going along? Because I found that parking in Atlanta is an absolute atrocity. Are you paying an arm and a leg to park in anywhere in downtown Seattle, even in Kirkland? And are you fighting parking garages, or have you found a loop to parking in general?
No, I have not. There's an app called Spot Hero that Mac and Michaela found before we got up here, so that's really helped. It's nice for just like kind of shopping around. You don't have to
Yeah.
drive place to place. You can just kind of put in your times where you're parking, and it'll spit some numbers out to you. But um, we've been able to park for under $10, so not too bad. We've gone to a couple baseball games, a football game, uh, and explored down there a few times. So not bad at all with that app. But that app is definitely a hack for parking because there's also places where you pay $10 for 30 minutes, and you park for 3 hour game, you're $60. So yeah, definitely that app helps a lot. I
What
feel
do you
like
use a lot?
we're plugging a lot of apps today, Abe, to not have any sponsors, but
I know. I
also
know.
I guess we're not putting ourselves in a situation we haven't even released an episode yet. So
Come on, man! This is gonna get released. We're gonna get there.
yeah,
We're gonna get the was it the views. We'll hit all the data ranks, and then we'll just have ads everywhere.
all the
It,
views will be my mom. Yeah.
yeah, but no, like I remember going across the country with you to school, and you're like, hey man, I'm not gonna say the app because again, no free ads, but you're like, hey man, do you have this app? Like, we're gonna find the cheapest gas we can on this route, and I was like, this is genius. And we did that, and it was awesome. But no, I there's an app out there for everywhere, and it's got to be in Atlanta. If not, then I would love to make it. Um, but yeah, that's a useful app right there, right? Before you go to a game, it's like, hey, where is it close to the game that I can park at a fair price and walk an extra block just to save 10, $15. I'd gladly look that up before going to a game. But man, just a lot of tech people up in that area building apps. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm sure it's a nationwide app. You can
Gotta
give
be
it a
right.
shot. Yeah.
But no, and then in Seattle as well. What kind of demographics are you looking at? I know that it is kind of I wouldn't say I'd say it's a major tech hub. Um, but who are the people that you're kind of running into? How does Kirkland compare to Seattle? Is there a way that you can um, relate that to maybe like a suburb of Arizona to kind of give at least me a better idea of what Kirkland's like, but then also just like the general demographics of Seattle.
Yeah, so the demographic is more of a tech type of person. So there's a lot of smart people, good with math and numbers and technology. So a lot of Indians, a lot of Asians. I don't want to throw out stereotypes out there, but it's just what I have noticed compared to Arizona. Um, there's also, and then your other question with the what would I relate Kirkland to? I would say it's like almost a Scottsdale. Like Bellevue is the true Scottsdale. That's the nice place in Washington and kind of the where all the rich people live and all that. But Kirkland is pretty nice as well. Like there's
Yeah,
a lot of nice places. Downtown's pretty nice. Um, yeah, I don't know what to say other than Scottsdale. It's pretty nice. Maybe like a Los Indus-ish type of like a
yeah,
north the North Los Indus, if you know what
yeah,
I'm talking about, where those custom homes are.
yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty nice
Yeah,
area.
it kind of sounds like it's because Mercer Island's also like it's almost like a Paradise Valley where it's like it's a small island. I think there's only like um you know less than 100 houses on there, um but I would always imagine that that's kind of like the Paradise Valley, like a small little pocket of wealth, and then you have Bellevue, which is again Scottsdale but bigger, and then yeah, it sounds like Kirkland. Maybe you how close are you to Mercer Island in that Bellevue area?
Bellevue, I work in Bellevue, so
Okay, okay, so it's right there.
10 to 20 minutes away, and then Mercer Island is probably 30 minutes away from Kirkland.
Yeah.
So not too far. Nothing too far. Even Seattle's about 30 minutes without a ton of traffic.
Gotcha. And then a lot of your coworkers and a lot of the people that you deal with every day, are they from Washington or are they from other places?
Yeah, I'd say most of them are from Washington. Uh, yeah, almost all of them.
Okay.
Um,
What and are you working with a lot of people that are your age or are you working with a lot of people that are older than you?
Mostly my age and older.
Okay.
There's a
Where
few that are younger, but not too
yeah.
many.
Um at your own transgression, how do you feel like their education level's at? Because and I only ask because I know Washington's pretty high on education. For like, K through 12. Minnesota, Wisconsin were both pretty high. And it wasn't until I went to Wisconsin, to Minnesota, to Midwest, where I realized that like Arizona is like 47th, 46th. Like we're pretty on the low scale of education. I didn't know that until I left. But I remember going to Minnesota. I was like, yeah, your schools are much nicer than us, but like, I don't feel like you're that much smarter than me. And so I was curious if you felt that same way in Washington, where it's like, you guys are just like us. You just might have nicer schools.
It's hard to tell. I don't get out a whole lot, like talking to people and stuff, other than uh, my roommates. So other than
Yeah.
the people I work with, it's hard to tell because they've all been to school, and I'm sampling a small survey, so
Yeah,
hard
for
to
sure.
tell on that end. Thinking back to all the people I met just through high school in Arizona. So, it I don't want to answer that one and give it the wrong route because I really don't know. There
No, that's a fair
there is
point.
a lot of tech, like I said, up here. So a lot of people that are good with technology and making good salaries up here. So that's for sure.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. But yeah, I just remember. I wish I put it up last week, but I just remember being like Minnesota was like always like top five in education. I was like, dude, I'm like
I didn't know
bottom.
that.
Yeah, we're like bottom five in Arizona. Granted, we went to I know like I would say one of the better high schools in Arizona, but it was a public one. So again, I feel like it shouldn't have that much change. But um, speaking of changes, the weather changes up there in Seattle. You have seasons. Um, again, you are missing fall and you have the back end of winter, but please go into more detail of how quickly the seasons change, the overall seasons, kind of what you enjoy about each specific one in Seattle. What are things that maybe you didn't expect or you dislike about each season? How has it been different with obviously the three places that you've lived before?
Yeah, I'll kind of go in order of since we moved here. We moved here in January, so like you said, got the back end of winter, and winter is the rainy season. Which coming from Arizona, the summer was always the rain season. So
Yeah,
I didn't like people said that, and I was like, okay, but it's probably just going to rain all the time, and it did in the winter. But once it hit summer, it settled down. But like I said, it's a constant mist. Not not a huge thunderstorm or anything. I don't even think I've seen thunder since moving here. So yeah, it's cold. It occasionally snows, very rarely. I think probably 3 to 5 times it snowed, and we had some sledding days, and that was fun. But not a whole lot of snow, even for being so north. I expected there to be a lot more. But being north, the winters are long nights and not a whole lot of daylight, and even with the daylight, there's rain and occasional snow, and so it's you find yourself begging for some sunlight and definitely missing the sun and excited to let your skin hit the sun again.
We
Yeah, and then
have you noticed any sort of kind of like seasonal depression? I know that was talked about a lot about in the Midwest of like, oh my gosh, it's winter, like I'm just so sad. Again, less snow, like you just said, but again, a little bit more gloom. Have you noticed? Yeah, maybe not you, but no, Mac and Michaela were up there a little bit longer than you guys. Have you noticed a bit of that with your coworkers and the people that you deal with every day?
yeah, I think people definitely deal with that up here. We got here late, and I'm pretty adaptable, so I didn't really feel that, but I can definitely see where people would feel that way, and it's a longer season, and not getting the I think it's vitamin D that you need, and I think that kind of affects your mood towards things. I think you're a little more depressed, like you said. So yeah, I'd say that's definitely something that we got to watch out for spending next winter up here. So keep an
Is
eye on
there a lot of tanning bed salons up there?
standing beds. No, I haven't noticed them at least, but you know, we're in a city. They're somewhere. They're definitely
Yeah,
somewhere, but I
yeah.
haven't noticed them actually.
It's
But
funny because so again, my parents live in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, which is like right across the border up eastern Washington, and it's not gloomy there. Like it is summertime, a little less gloomy through the wintertime, but um, they always make fun of a lot of people from the coast, the West Coast, the Oregon coast, and the Washington coast will come over to Coeur d'Alene and play a bunch of golf, and kind of spend some time outdoors. And like the locals in Coeur d'Alene will easily spot the locals from Seattle because it'll just be like a couple shades wider than all the locals in Coeur d'Alene. And I was like, what are you guys talking about? Like it's nice there in the summertime, but that's how all the Coeur d'Alene locals notice or catch, the Seattle locals. Um, and so it's funny how you kind of contradict that a little bit with like saying how nice it is in the summertime and people just want to get out in the sun. And almost every summer someone makes a comment about it in Idaho. So um, that's kind of funny to me. But going into spring, how was the spring? Does it differ greatly to the Midwest? I'm not gonna compare it to Arizona spring because it's completely different as well. But um,
what spring in Arizona?
exactly.
Yeah, it turns green fast, and it's a fun time because every day the sun is rising earlier and staying up later. So it's definitely fun to start to go to work in the light again, and um, the rain lessens. I'm not going to say there's none, but it lessens a little bit, and there's still a good amount of rain. And then the the flowers is something I've noticed. There's a bunch of flowers on the trees and on the streets, so that's been oddly pretty. So I I haven't really noticed that until this year. So
Hey, I'm right there with you. Again, spring in Arizona is very pretty. All the wildflowers bloom. I think that's when the cactus blooms as well. That might bloom in the summertime. But yeah, I remember I would go on hikes in the springtime as a kid and wouldn't think anything of it. And then when I came back from college, like after my first year, I was like, man, springtime here is like super pretty. Like all the flowers, on both sides in Arizona and Minnesota. I was like, man, like I'm not a big flower guy, but like I can't appreciate some color and the growth of things and so yeah, again I'll just notice them more. I guess I guess I'll just smell the roses, is what they say. But it's funny how as time goes by, you don't care in high school about flowers, and then now like I always kind of peek around the corner and be like, oh, like those hydrangeas are like really blooming. That's cool. Like, I don't
Look
know.
at you. You know the
Yeah.
names and everything. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
well, those are like the really big. Those they're really famous. But yeah, like I just like, man, like that tree's like really greened up in the last like week. So um,
Yeah,
it,
you do
it's
notice that. And it helps when things actually turn green. That
that does
it's
help.
easier to notice that things are changing when things actually change.
I think
Unlike a cactus.
real quick,
I
Arizona,
guess
nothing really.
cactus gets some. There's some flowers and those are pretty, but the actual cactus looks the same about the year round.
Yeah,
Yeah,
nothing. There's no fast change in Arizona.
for
It
sure,
changes too slow. Um,
for sure.
but yeah, and then so when does the fruit actually start growing in out there?
That's a good question. I'd say June-ish. The huckleberries and blueberries start to come around, and then, or sorry, the salmon berries come around then, which are just the
Origin.
orangish looking raspberries. Yeah, and then we found huckleberries and blueberries probably the next month, and then blackberries come after that so far. And then I think there's apples coming soon. So looking forward to those. But it's been fun. Yeah, like I said, I didn't grow up with it, so I'm enjoying that, and it's been good to go and get some free fruit.
That's awesome. That's so cool. I told Mina this, and I was like, "Dude, look, Cannon's picking berries like every day. He's like, I've got nothing to pick. You know, I was like, I've got nothing. Like, I gotta find something to pick now. Like, Cannon's gonna come visit me again, and he's like, be so upset that there's nothing to pick in my concrete jungle I live in. And she's like looking at me like, dude, what is your problem? And I'm like, I said, you don't understand. Like, but yeah, no, that's so funny. That's so cool. Like, it's awesome to see that again. Arizona, nothing grew naturally. And I wasn't focused on the berries in college until we went on that one Airbnb with all of our families. And so it's so
Yeah.
cool to me. And my grandparents, they had raspberries on their property up in Idaho, and like I would eat those like crazy in the summertime. But I just thought
It
that
does.
was like,
It triggers something in my inner child, and I'm sure
yeah,
you feel the same. It's kind of fun.
oh for
Uh,
sure. And
yeah,
so
but definitely looking forward to fall. Like you said, the this pine contrasting the different changing leaves is going to be exciting. We're not quite there yet, but we're getting there.
what
And
out of curiosity,
yeah,
Alyssa's been with you. So Alyssa's only lived in Arizona, correct?
she's lived everywhere I have actually.
But like
She moved up to
before you guys started dating, she was born and raised in
correct.
yeah.
Yep,
So she hasn't really seen her first seasons was her first time in Wisconsin.
yep, that would be correct. Yeah, that
So
fall.
yeah. So does she have a favorite season now that she's seen them all, or like is she planning like a bunch of like fall activities that like, hey, we need to go apple picking, we need to do this, we need to do that, um or any springtime activities? Like, have you got a sense? You probably haven't asked her straight up, but have you gotten a sense of what her favorite season is, or does she
If I
just
had
enjoy
to
them all?
guess, I would say summer. She loves the beach, getting out, being tan,
Yeah.
uh, stuff like that. But she also loves flowers, so spring might be up there as well. She always pointed those out to me on the streets, and maybe that's why I noticed all the flowers this year. But
Well, she might be
um,
telling you to actually get her flowers.
maybe
That could be another alternative.
maybe that's yeah uh, a hint for me. But uh, I'm deaf, I guess. Um, yeah, no, I think summer is her favorite. She likes being out on the water or doing stuff out in the sun. So
That's awesome. No, that's so cool. And again, like it's cool. I it's cool to see that from Melissa because again, I'm sure summertime was not her favorite in Arizona because it was so hot. But
she's
in
kind
a
of
way,
weird. She's kind of weird in that aspect. I think she
yeah,
still kind of enjoyed it, just being able to go out by the pool and stuff. So, if
yeah,
you enjoy summer in Arizona, you'll probably enjoy summer everywhere.
exactly. Yeah, she is a weird egg like that, um, but no, it's just completely different, right? So I'm sure she just absolutely enjoys um the weather now up there, and
Definitely.
just like, oh my gosh, like I can't imagine. She might be mad that she's put a hoodie on to go watch 4th of July fireworks. Like she's like, Why do we have to do this? Why is it so damn cold outside right now?
Maybe. No, she has a good attitude towards things, so she's
But no.
enjoyed it.
And then, do you guys have anything fall lined up in the fall for activity wise? I assume you're going apple picking somewhere. Uh, but is there anything on down the tunnel that you're like, hey, we really want to do this before fall ends?
No, nothing that far out. We have
Okay.
we have a plan to go see you in September in Idaho, so looking forward to that. And that's really the furthest we've planned out.
Dope.
But besides, you said what?
Dope. That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah, that's about it. Well, I guess we're going back to Arizona for Thanksgiving, but yeah, nothing, no weekend plans. I'm gonna probably start reffing some tackle ball pretty soon, so looking forward to that. And then, yeah, I'm sure we'll find something to do. We've been wanting to go out to the Alum, Cascade National Park, and yeah, looking forward to that. So that should be a long hike. There's a hike we have picked out. I think it's 20-ish miles. So that'll be a good trek, and we'll get that done. So I don't know when we want to do that, either this year or the next, but still it's on the list. So we'll see when we get around to it.
And then kind of staying in the area of summer too. Are most of the mountains out there still snow capped?
No, nope.
No.
Rainier is. Other than that, I don't think so. We did see some snow this weekend when we went up to Lake 22, but that's at the top of the mountain next
Yeah.
to a lake, and it was in the shadows. So
Yeah.
pretty rare, I think, for it to be year round snow.
Yeah. I know right near I've flown in like in August and I was like, that thing is still pretty snow capped, but I couldn't remember if everything else was. But I do know like Mount Hood in Oregon, I think just across the border, I think they have year round snowboarding.
Do they?
Yeah,
That's
so
pretty sweet.
I know I've never been there before. I've only heard good things about it. It's a true like little pocket, small pocket of like outdoor sports. And even my dad was like, "Hey, Canada should go check out like Mount Hood." And I was like, or Hood River too, because it's like around the Columbia
Red
River. And I was
River.
like, yeah.
Okay, I'll have to write that one down.
But I think Mount Hood has year-round snowboarding. Um, so maybe something to look into. Maybe you want to pay Alyssa back for her birthday gift to you. But like, hey, Alyssa, I know you love spend time at the beach and the sun, but like, let's go snowboarding today in July.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Um,
a maybe next year.
Depends how you pitch it, but it might be a good idea. And then does weather? Are you finding that weather permits you from doing certain things? Like, does weather, like, if it's bad weather, do people shut down or they're like, whatever, it's going to blow over in 10 minutes. We're just going to keep going. Or the rain is just constant, so they're used to it.
I think it's so constant that people just ignore it now.
Yeah.
My mom came up and was like, "Is it gonna rain today? Like, can we do this?" And we're like, "Yes, it's gonna rain. Yes, we can do it." Like, but just being from Arizona, rain shuts plans down, so we can't do that. But up here, it's just, yeah, you go and it's gonna rain. You're gonna wear your waterproof clothes and you're gonna be fine. So, yeah, you just kind of learn how to deal with it, and yeah, that's definitely different. I think where you go, you just adapt. I feel like that's just the thing we keep circling back to on these is Arizona. It's the sun. Wisconsin, it's the cold, or Midwest, it's the cold. Up here, it's the rain. You adapt to where it is, and I'm sure Atlanta. When you
Yeah.
talk about that, you adapt to the humidity. Like you just learn how to deal with it and take it for what it is.
I think, I mean, we're built to adapt, and I think that's the quicker you adapt, it's easy to be happier wherever you're at. But quick transition sports. What's sports like out there, man? Is there any different sports that you guys are playing?
Yeah, I mean,
Or
pickleball is the obvious one.
yeah,
We're playing that all the time. Like I said, invented up here, and I really hadn't got into it until I moved up here. But it's a fun one. It's
yeah,
like ping pong, but full body. So yeah, definitely enjoyed that. Another weird one, similar to hockey, that I didn't think even existed, but it's sailing. That's a high school sport up here. One of my coworkers actually did it in high school, and he was apparently pretty decent at it. So that's definitely a weird one. That seems like you got to have a little more money to do that. And in
Yeah.
my head, I don't know how accurate that is or not, but seems like more of a golf type sport, maybe a golf
Oh,
tennis.
it's a
You know,
white
you
collar
you
sport for
I
sure.
have my I have my 30-foot yacht or kind of
Yeah.
sport. So yeah, I don't know. That's an interesting one though. It definitely makes it makes sense that it's up here. There's lakes everywhere, and it'd be a good way to travel. That's for sure.
I'd almost challenge you to go watch a sailing, like a high school sailing event, right?
Yeah,
Again, like I don't know what you wear, I don't know where it's at, I don't know how you watch it, but like
probably like
I
a
would,
ribbon or something, or
yeah, I'd
something
look. I
around your
know you
neck
got
for
those,
sure. A
yeah, I know
scarf.
you got
There you
those
go.
binoculars. I would for sure like look up the
But
local high
they're
school.
returned now. They're returned now.
That's right, that's right. But maybe go buy some more and return them at a different store.
There you go.
Um, but yeah, I would challenge you to go watch high school sailing, and I want to report back because I am quite curious to see what it actually is, and how big these boats are. So yeah, I have I have no idea what it would look like at all.
I still don't, and I don't even know what season it is. I would have to assume summer, but I don't know.
Maybe
Maybe
fall,
they want the
right?
kids to be miserable, and yeah, I know, right? Summer is summer. There's no school, so I don't know. It's an
Yeah,
interesting one. I'll have to
I'm
do some
sure. Don't get
research
me
on
wrong.
that.
I'm sure there's club sailing. Don't get me wrong,
Oh yeah, I
but
bet there is.
no. And then you've been reffing a lot. Have you
I have.
noticed the kids up there trash? The kids getting softer. You know how has it been? Do you get emotions that come up when you're reffing of like, dude, come on, dude, take a hit or whatever? Or are they getting tougher? Are they way better than we were as kids?
It's hard to tell. One mainly
Nice,
because
the answer.
I've been I've been roughing flag. It's not. I haven't rough tackle yet, so hard to see. Uh,
Baby steps, baby steps.
but I'm sure they're tougher than you, Abe.
Oh
No, just
yeah,
kidding.
I played
Just
golf, of
kidding.
course.
Um, no, hard to tell. I don't really know what kids are supposed to be like when they're 10 now.
Yeah,
My brother is 19. It's been a long time since I've seen kids at that age. So I don't know what you're supposed to hit at what age. So really hard to tell, and also not doing tackle yet. So uh, once I get some high school games under my belt, I should be able to report a little better answer back to you. But in the meantime, just flag. But what I've really enjoyed with flag is watching. How do I phrase this? I've really enjoyed that girls are starting to play football. Like it's
yeah,
funny to watch the little girls saying football words that like even Alyssa, who has dated me for 3 years, don't know. Like we're in cover two, you have deep, don't get
yeah.
beat, and then you're in the flats. Like it's just keep contained, stuff like that. And it's just like you're 7 years old. Like you're how do you know this stuff? And it's super cute and fun to watch them, and fun to watch football kind of grow as a sport. It's a fun game. It should be played by both genders. So, um, really really good to watch flag develop, and also watch it develop as a girls sport.
That's awesome. That's so cool.
Yeah,
I remember going to like the flag leagues that we played in growing up. Like I remember like running down that hill and you just seeing like the massive six fields, and you're like, hey, what field are we on today? You know what I mean? And yeah, just the camaraderie to see like kind of more people get introduced to that. Like I'm never gonna be upset. Um, and that's so I wish, I wish. I mean, I'm not ref. I'm not gonna ref anytime soon, but it's so cool to see. I know I'll get there at one point, um, but yeah, that's awesome. And then kind of wrap this all up. You know how I don't really want to put it on a scale of like 1 to 10, but like how do you rate Washington? Maybe like out of the whole 50, you've been to all 50 states. You haven't lived in all of them, but you've been to all of them. Where do you think Washington ranks out of the 50 states from your point of view?
yeah. It's really hard to rank them. Uh,
It's not.
not Washington. It's not hard to rank Washington. It's hard to rank the 50 states because I did that. I finished that when I was, I don't know, 14.
For
So,
sure.
it's been over 10 years since I've been to some of these states. So it's hard to tell. And I was only there for a day for some, weeks for others. So hard to tell. But I've really enjoyed Washington, man. It surprised me. You moving from somewhere else, all you hear about is the rain. There's
Yeah.
rain. I could never live up there. It's so depressing. I hate rain, all this. And it's once you get up here, you get used to the rain, and the summers are the best. Like I know I said last week the Midwest summer is hard to beat, but I think it beats it up here. It's like the Midwest summer on steroids. There might not be the same energy with the people, but
Yeah.
the just the amount of things to do, and you could go out on the ocean one day, and then the next day you could be, I don't know, back playing whatever. Like there's
Yeah.
so many things back biking, back hiking, camping, stuff like that. And it's super fun. And there's just such a vast amount of things. It's almost like, I kind of planned on being here for a year and a half, and uh, getting a taste, and hopefully kind of getting a feel for everything that it had to offer up here. And I don't think I'm going to even be able to get close to that. There's things that have that are up here that I'm not even going to be able to tap into. Like I think I'd like to get into hunting. I kind of mentioned that before, but with reffing and stuff, I really enjoyed that. So that's going to take up a lot of time. And then um, salmon fishing, like that's something that not many
Nice.
places have, and like I
Yeah.
should do that, and I didn't get around to it. And yeah, dude, it kind of stinks, but it's cool to have those. It's better to have those opportunities than to not have them, I think. So stinks to miss out on them, obviously, but um, we're having fun. It's really cool, having a lot of fun, just trying new things and experiencing new experiences.
I think to kind of explain it in the way like I'm thinking about it, like realistically, you're only going to see about like you'll see and hear about like 80% of Seattle, whether you do see it or like you hear about it, but like and that's great. Like everything that you just said, like I think that's awesome. But like I think what makes it even bigger difference, and you and I really can't speak much about it, but like is like the nooks and crannies of that area. Like I can only imagine where the places that not a lot of people can get to, but if you had a boat, like that, then only 20, less than 20% of people can get to certain spots, and then you're fishing for you know almost like game fish, like pike and like these massive fishes, and you can get access to parts of parks that you couldn't get by foot or by car and stuff like that. So to even think about like again kind of like the nooks and crannies of that Pacific Northwest, um and I think that's just special, right? And I think I saw a little bit of that in Arizona, like kind of some spots that most people don't normally go to, especially like some of the hikes that we've done. And I'm like, man, this is like unreal. And I can only imagine what that's like in Seattle, in that area. But
Yeah,
um,
definitely. The water definitely makes it more exclusive.
oh, for
Yeah,
sure,
that's another great thing, is just how wild everything feels. Like there's bear up here, there's elk, there's moose, there's wolves. Like I'm an animal guy, so I
yeah,
love all that. I've really enjoyed, having the excitement of turning a corner and seeing an elk, or a black bear or something. And so yeah, it's a very cool place to me, and it definitely caught me off guard. And I think I'm liking it more than I almost wish I did, as backward as that seems. But it was like I'm enjoying it. That's for sure.
yeah,
I think we might stay here at least another summer. So
yeah.
push that year and a half to maybe a year and 3/4.
I'm gonna put you in a tough spot here because I've always said that I've wanted to raise my kids in Arizona just because I loved the way that I grew up. Are you having second thoughts about that? With Seattle, like, do you and not where do you want to end up? In 5-10 years from now, or whenever you do start having kids. But do you feel like, man, it'd be a lot easier to raise kids up here with just all the kind of the activities that align with you, the way that you want to align it to up there?
I don't think easier is the way to phrase that. Alyssa and I have family in Arizona,
Yeah.
so it's that would make it easier is moving back there. But it is a cool place to live, and I do think it would provide a cool childhood. That's for sure.
Okay.
But yeah, that family pull is pretty strong with both of us. I grew up, away from my extended family. My parents were the first ones to kind of move out and move away from Indiana, and the rest of my family was left in Indiana. So, um, I enjoyed it. I liked living with just my family, but also I feel like I did miss out on kind of that whole family aspect of knowing your cousins and your uncles and grandparents and all that. And so, I think I want to give my kids that. And so
Yeah.
I'm I'm excited. I loved Arizona as well. I don't think
Yeah.
there's a wrong answer in either of those, but how would the family be up here? I think I'd be staying up here as well. It's
Yeah.
hard to say with knowing what I know, and I've only been here 9 months, so maybe or what did I say, 7 months? So there's a bit of a honeymoon phase as well, right?
For
Like
sure. For sure.
the things that will not, you'll figure them out with time, but yeah, right now, man, it's definitely a honeymoon phase. That's for sure.
That's awesome. No, it really does sound like you're enjoying it. What and on I'll kind of end with this. You've only been up there for 7 months. You know, have you came across something that you're like, you know what, I'm always gonna whether it's you and Alyssa, hey, we're always gonna remember this. Whether it's a feeling, whether it's a time and place. What is there a lasting memory that you'll have of Seattle when you eventually do kind of move on to whatever's next?
Hard to say, just because everything is still so new.
Yeah,
But I think we'll remember the outdoor activities, just feeling, like, oh, it's a weekend, let's go do something, let's go on a hike, let's go camping. Um, Even with Mac, let's go biking. But I think pickleball will remember. It kind of
yeah,
introduced us, and it seems like that's been a weekly habit that we've developed. Um, yeah, I think we'll just enjoy these memories as what they are, and um, Olympic National Park is great. We've been there a few times, and our friends Casey and Barb came out and visited there, and that was a super super fun trip. I think we'll remember that, and yeah, still have quite a bit of time. So
yeah.
hopefully we'll make some more memories, and we'll
Ob-
see what
Obviously
what
got
ones last.
you obviously got engaged.
That's true. Yeah.
I think that
Throwing me
should
under
be
the bus there. Yeah,
no,
that's
no,
number
no.
one, obviously.
We can cut that out.
Yeah, no, no, keep it in. No, that's a good one too, though. Yeah, there's a lot of good memories. We'll see what we end up, you know, keeping with us. But yeah, a lot of good up here. Really enjoying it.
Oh, for sure, man. I really enjoyed. I think I mentioned this before, but like that was like my go-to spot. After high school. I really wanted to move to Seattle and go to UW or just go to that Northwest. Got a couple older cousins up there, but no, I really enjoyed hearing all the stories. Kind of some stereotypes being true, some being not, and just getting it from a reliable source like you. It's been so interesting, and it's been awesome to hear. And I've been excited. Once you told me that you were moving up there, I was like, man. And actually, once Mac was moving up there, I was like, man, that's gonna be really awesome for him, and then you eventually too. So, um, no, man, it's been awesome. It does suck being on the other corner of the U.S., but I couldn't imagine a better place for you and Alyssa, specifically to spend your chapter 25 at. So, um, it's been awesome to hear all the stories. But with that, that kind of wraps up Washington. Um, and unless you don't have any other comments about Washington, then we're gonna be on to Georgia next week.
No, I think that did a good summary of it. Yeah, and looking forward to continuing our quest around the United States with down in the South, down in Georgia. Looking forward to next week where you tell us about what you've learned and the good, bad, and the ugly of living down in the South.
With that, signing off, and then we'll see you guys next week.